Hola! How's everybody doing?
Holy crap, that's like extreme.
Welcome to another installment of the Pandaman Podcast. I am your lovely host. I don't know. My name is Breedingpool. I play a lot of Magic, and I am with my lovely co-host, Pandaman Aeryck.
Hey, that's me. How's it going, YouTube?
Shaka. Welcome. But again, before we really get started, we noticed that you guys, the majority of the people watching the YouTube videos are not subscribed. So really, please, tap the sub button, click the little bell thingy, leave a thumbs up, a like, a love, a comment on what you think is your top 10s, and we'll kind of go over it. We'll take a look at it. We'll definitely look into what you guys are liking and what you're not liking, things of that nature. Just let me know. And the best way to do that is by subbing, commenting, and liking. We really appreciate it. Love you guys.
Really appreciate it.
So we're going to start with our honorable mentions tonight, and then we'll move into our top 10.
We're doing a top 10 episode today, guys. Top 10 cards from Zendikar Rising.
These are in no way ranked on how we feel. They're just 10 of our favorite cards. To me, that means playability and constructed, and just overall appeal of the card. I like it a lot, so I will share it with you. I don't know about Eric, but that's my way.
That's exactly how I am too. It's between playability for some of them, and some of them is just personal favorites that I really want to brew around.
We're gonna start with our honorable mentions here. My first honorable mention is Shadow's Verdict. 3 black sorcery. Exile all creatures and planeswalkers with converted mana cost 3 or less from the battlefield, and all creature and planeswalker cards with converted mana cost 3 or less from all graveyards. The sorcery, I just think it's, time to get rid of the Uros, man. It's time to get rid of them.
Even at 5 mana, exiling all Uros is not bad because it gets it from the graveyard and the battlefield.
Granted that it's a turn behind when they can cast their Uro from the graveyard. It just feels nice to have something that catches everything. Because even if they cast it, they got some value twice. But then you're just like, well, wipey, bye bye, and you don't have to make the decision between odd or even like we have been. But running those together seems really fun as well.
Seems really good, yeah.
What's your honorable mention?
My first honorable mention is the entire green-red deck. Most of these cards did not make my top 10 list or my other honorable mentions, but the green-red deck that we talked about before, the one with Lotus Cobra, the Green Warden, and the Heroes of Thor forming.
Okay.
I think that deck's going to be a lot of fun. I'm definitely going to build that deck first and see about getting that deck and trying to make it work.
Hey everyone, just a quick editor's note. This Green Red Decklist was not an original creation by us. This deck was made by Brian Gottlieb of the Arena Decklist Podcast. We, the Pandmanaeryck Podcast, take no credit for the build of this deck. It was one we found really sweet. Please go support the Arena Decklist Podcast, as they are wonderful human beings and definitely much better at the game than we are. Now, back to the podcast.
All right, my next honorable mention, he didn't make my top 10, though he should, is Zarath-San the Trickster, or Rogue Jutsu. He's 3 blue-black for a 4/4 legendary creature Merfolk Rogue with Flash. 2 black-blue, return an unblocked attacking rogue you control to its owner's hand. Put Zarath-San the Trickster from your hand onto the battlefield tapped and attacking. Whenever he deals combat damage to a player, you may put target permanent card from that player's graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. So like I said, realistically, he probably should just be over my number 10. He should just be in, because I'm going to play him a lot, and I think he's going to be expensive, and I think he's going to be really good. I think you want 4 copies of him, because they're going to remove this thing, and if not, it's just a 4/4 with Flash for 5 mana that has a really good combat damage effect, as well as has the Rogue Jutsu, which is also really good.
I think it's going to be, if there is a aggro deck in Standard, I do believe it's going to be the blue-black Rogues. I'm 100% sold on that. My next honorable mention is Deliberate.
That's a good one.
I figured it's going to be played heavily, but I don't think it's top 10 worthy just because of it being such a simple effect.
Right.
But Deliberate is 1 in a blue for an instant scry 2, draw a card.
That's preordained, +1 mana, instant speed. It's like these innocuous cards are quite good.
Yeah.
My next card is Ancient of Green Warden. He did not make my top 10, but Eric kind of went over that. You guys don't know what he is. He's a 4 and 2 green 5/7 creature elemental reach. You may play land cards from your graveyard. If a land entering the battlefield causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. It's a good card, actually. My first evaluation was like, it's win more, but the fact that you can play land from your graveyard is Pog champ.
Exactly like I said with the green-red deck, just that with the lithoforming is going to be really good. My next honorable mention and my last ones are all the pathways. I put them as honorable mentions, not as top 10, simply because they're lands. They're just going to be, the backbone of the entire format.
I have a couple more. My next one is Cragplate Baloth. He's a 5 green 6/6 beast with kicker for 2 and a green. He can't be countered. He has hexproof. He has haste. If he's kicked, he enters the battlefield with 4 +1/+1 counters. I kind of gave an homage to my lovely co-host Eric in this one. Though I mean, he's not Carnage Tyrant, but he is insane. And with the way the format is looking, it's probably going to be super slow. A 6/6 for 7 that can't be countered and has hexproof and haste. That's hard to beat.
He didn't even make my honorable mentions or a top 10 simply because he can be chump blocked all day.
Correct, yeah, but let's give it trample in some way.
Okay, but you have to have another card to give it trample.
That's true.
That's the issue with it. That's the only issue I have with it.
I don't know, the green-white deck that likes to put counters on stuff and then the counters cause trample seems pretty fun with him.
You still need another card to have counters cause trample.
Oh, yeah, but you're already going to be playing that card in that deck, right? So,
I guess. But
my next one is Karagon Intimidator, 1 in a red, human warrior for a 3/1 human warrior. Cowards can't block warriors, everybody. I don't know if you knew that or not, but they can't. For one colorless, choose one that hasn't been chosen this turn. He gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Target creature becomes a coward until end of turn. Target warrior gains trample until end of turn. This card is just a flavor win. It's really good. Like, it's the only time we've ever seen the cowards can't, or it's the second time we've seen cowards can't block warriors, and it's really good. Like, it's a really good card. I really like a 3/1 that turns into a 4/2 that stops a blocker from all of your warriors. Like, they just play. Okay, you played. Well, it's got hexproof, but you played something, and they're just like, well, now it's a coward, and it's just that's so much flavor. Like, I love that. And my last one, Valakut Exploration for a 2 in a red enchantment landfall. When a land enters the battlefield under your control, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card for as long as it remains exiled. At the beginning of your end step, if there are cards exiled with Valakut Exploration, put them into their owner's graveyard. Then Valakut Exploration deals that much damage to each opponent. That's a good card.
That's a really good card.
Draws you cards, and deals damage. Like, that's what a red deck wants, right?
Yeah, usually. All right, so my top 10 at the first one I have is Jace Mirmage, 1 blue for legendary planeswalker. Jace enters with 4 loyalty counters on it, has kicker 2. When Jace Mirmage enters the battlefield, if Jace was kicked, create a token that's a copy of Jace Mirmage, except it's not legendary, and its starting loyalty is 1. +1 scry 2. 0, draw a card and reveal it. Remove a number of loyalty counters equal to the card's converted mana cost from Jace Mirmage. I just think it's going to be really, really, really played card. I think Jace is going to be one of the pillars of the format.
Spoiler alert, Jace is also my number 1 card.
Oh, well.
Yeah. I agree with Eric 100%. I think the card's going to be played a lot. It's an effect we've never seen before. 2 copies of a Planeswalker for 5 mana.
I mean, you go Uro turn 3, Jace turn 4 kicked.
Yeah, it's like, that's strong.
That seems pretty good to me.
+1 your image, or your fake Jace, and then 0 your real Jace, and set up your draws. Yeah, set up your draws, get a land, play. I mean, it's strong. It's really good.
It's gonna be a really good card.
Granted, it does get hit by the verdict that we seen earlier, but
yeah,
you still got 2 copies for it, and it looks sweet. I mean, come on, look at that image.
Yeah,
it's so nice.
Really good.
All right.
Next, we got Null Priest of Oblivion from my number 9. So Null Priest of Oblivion, 1 in black for a 2/1 creature, vampire, cleric, kicker, 3 in black, menace, lifelink. When it enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, return target creature card from a graveyard to the battlefield. So this, I've heard plenty of people talk about how it's really good. It's really good at early game because the menace with it
And
obviously really
lifelink.
good late game. Yeah, and lifelink, but lifelink is not as important as
But
menace.
incidental lifelink is always good.
That's fair. But also obviously good late game because for 3, 4, 5, 6 mana. Wow, that's only 6.
Yeah, it's real good.
For only 6 mana, you're getting a creature back from your graveyard to the battlefield. Like going from the graveyard to the battlefield is a fact we don't see very often. So play the crap out of it.
Especially on a body that automatically has a relevant creature to 2 relevant creature types, vampire and cleric, menace, lifelink, and is relatively cheap costed. Spoiler alert again, also made my top 10 list.
Imagine that. For my number 8, quote unquote, we have Maul of the Skyclaves. Maul of the Skyclaves is 2 in a red for an artifact equipment. When it enters the battlefield, attach it to target creature you control. Equipped creature gets +2/+2 and has flying and first strike. Equipped for 2 white.
It's 2 in a white, by the way, not 2 in a red.
Yeah, 2 in a white. You know, words are hard.
I'm the colorblind one, everybody.
I know how to read cards. I just want it to be red. I think that there's going to be aggro decks in the format. It's going to be the blue-black rogues or the mono-white deck.
Oh, okay.
I think it's going to be mono white with Maul of the Skyclaves because, like we were talking about before during spoiler season, turn 1, the dog. Turn 2, Season Hollowblade. Turn 3, Maul of the Skyclaves onto the Season Hollowblade. I think that combination of cards in order to be really, really good.
Attack for 5, in perhaps indestructible. Perhaps.
Yes.
Could be. Have card. In the air, by the way. And it has first strike. So, like, even your indestructibility doesn't need to be, but then they're like, okay, well, my turn 4, so this is you on the play, which is bad for an aggro deck. My turn 4, I'm going to cast Wrath of God. Well, hold on a second. Discard a card. Blah.
Discard a card. Sacrifice my dog.
Yeah, or whatever you want to do. Like, that is pretty strong.
All right, up next I have Skyclave Apparition. 1 white for a 2/2 creature core spirit. When it enters the battlefield, exile up to 1 target non-land, non-token permanent you don't control with convert mana cost 4 or less. When Skyclave Apparition leaves the battlefield, the exiled card's owner creates a XX blue illusion creature token where X is the converted mana cost of the exiled card. We don't get the effect of having the exile be a different effect than the leaves the battlefield.
Different line of text, yeah.
Yeah, we don't get that very often, for 1. For 2, we, Detention Sphere seen plenty of play when it was in the standard format. And even Deputy of Detention seen a decent amount of play.
Well, I mean, those cards hit more than one thing at a time, but I think, like, I've seen Banishing Light be played a couple times. I've definitely seen things like this, like just like in standard wise, like sack this with trigger on the stack, they get nothing, and their card stays permanently exiled. Flash this or play this, flash in a Flicker Wisp, permanently exiled, and you get to do it again. Like that's really good. This card is real good card.
And as much as I hope it's going to happen, I don't think it will. I think in Historic, they might eventually give us, what's the artifact that C plays in Modern with tribes, usually?
Oh, that's what I was talking about. Vial.
Yeah, Aether Vial. What if they give us Aether Vial in Historic?
Bring me Aether Vial.
Aether Vial, says Jake, yes.
Print it in standard. What? Spoiler, my top 10 as well. I think this card is real good.
Next, I got Balagad Recovery. 2 and a green for a sorcery. Return target card from your graveyard to your hand as also a enter the battlefield tap. With the format being as slow as it's going to be, I think it's going to be. This is returning any card from your graveyard to your hand. This is also part of the green-red deck in my honorable mention. But returning any card from your graveyard to your hand, plus it being a land.
I mean, I think it's fine. Like, I'm not like overly.
The fact that it's also a land makes it just that much better.
That's fair.
You can trigger your landfall abilities and get back anything you want from the graveyard to your hand to cast that late game.
So I was thinking about that All Spells Charbelcher deck, and this card would be really good in that.
Yeah, there's that too.
Yeah, because like you get that guy, the Mana Dork, that is a land. This dude, this is also a land. Oh, they killed my Charbelcher. Well, I'm just gonna go ahead and get it back now.
My number 5 is Omnath, Locus of Creation. red, green, white, blue for a legendary creature elemental 4/4. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card. Landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 4 life. If this is the first time this ability has resolved this turn. If it's the second time, add red, green, blue, white. If it's the third time, Omnath deals 4 damage to each opponent and each planeswalker you don't control. I have this because I've heard from several different other podcasts that this is actually not trivial to cast. That there's actually a really good way to get this out turn 3, turn 4, and trigger the landfall several times.
Yeah, like Jake, man, you play Fable Passage after this. It's free!
Yeah. And also it draws you a card. So like it replaces itself.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I just don't know if 4 colors is gonna be possible.
Well, like I just said, people have been saying it's not that hard to do. People have been building around this before we had all the spoilers, and they're like, it's not hard to do at all. It's not trivial. It's actually a thing we can really do.
Oh yeah, then Dryad of the Elysian Grove.
Yep.
Oh.
Up next, this is kind of funny. Zero-San, the Trickster. I have him as my number 4 because, like we were saying earlier, I think he's going to be really good in the blue-black rogues, obviously. And if the aggro deck does exist, it's going to be blue-black rogues or mono-white. That's just my opinion. Up next, I have Cheddar Skull Charger. It is 1 red for a 4/3 creature giant warrior kicker 2. Trample haste. If it was kicked, enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it. At the beginning of your end step, if Cheddar Skull Charger doesn't have a +1/+1 counter on it, return it to its owner's hand. In a mono red shell, this is going to be, or even a green red shell, I think this is going to be a really good card. The fact that it comes in, immediately has haste, trample, 4/3, back to your hand so it doesn't get hit by a wrath. And later game, if you want to have it stick around the battlefield, you can have it stick around with the +1/+1 counter.
Yeah, it's good. It also made my top 10 list. Yeah, the card's good.
And then I kind of cheated on this one. My number 2 is the Mythic Boltland spells. With the format being as slow as it is, I think these are going to be really good for, like late game, play this, something spectacular happens. I have a rank for them as well for like which one's best. In my opinion, the black one's the best.
I agree.
My order is black, green, white, red, blue. The black one obviously is the best because it brings back creature cards from your graveyard, and it's black, X, so you can have X be whatever you want. Being as it's returns to the battlefield, and you can get multiple creatures. That's just really, really good. It's an underrated effect.
Yeah,
the fact that they're all lands. The fact that they're all lands, you can just have them enter the battlefield.
Yeah, mine is black, green, red. The other ones don't matter.
Well, the white one I've heard is actually really good because, once again, in the mono white deck, possibly, you're going to get to 7 mana eventually. And having all these enter the battlefield as a land is not that bad.
No, I mean, it's not bad.
So it's an effect that you will eventually at one point play in the mono white shell. My last card. This one, So I had my number 1 spot set open, and I was like, what should I put in here? What should I put? I was going over this list several times. So I was like, I already have this card, I already have this card, I have this card, I have this card. What do I want? I put Relic Robber. Relic Robber, 2 in a red for a 2/2 creature goblin row with haste. When Relic Robber deals combat damage to a player, that player creates a 0/1 colorless goblin construct artifact creature token with this creature can't block, and at the beginning of your upkeep, this creature deals 1 damage to you.
Spoiler, this is just made my top 10 too.
Oh, yes. I love this card so much, and I just really want to play around with it. As much as of a meme, I put it as my number 1. I don't know if it's gonna be any good because it would do combat damage to a player, but I love it so much, and I'm going to put 4 of in a deck at some point and lose about 5 ranks. So
just remember, I'm always gonna say, "Here, you take it" on stream when I connect with this card.
Yep, always.
It is really good against control strategies.
Yeah, this is true. That's
so,
my top 10.
All right, and all as always, you can vote in the comments. Whose top 10 is better? I mean, not saying anything, but I'm way larger of a person. So if you don't agree with me, I will hunt you down. And no, I won't. Seriously, it doesn't matter. Don't look at him right now. But so my number 1 is Jace. We talked about it pretty lengthily. It's a good card. Play it, pick it up, have fun. Number 2, I like Death Shadow effects. So Scourge of the Skyclaves, I love you. But it's a 1 and a black for a star creature demon with kicker for 4 and a black. When you cast this spell, if it was kicked, each player loses half of their life rounded up. Scourge of the Skyclave's power and toughness are each equal to 20 minus the highest life total among players. Yeah, I really want to connect with a 1919. I'm just saying, I do really badly.
So you want your opponent to be at 1 and you at 1.
Yeah.
And you want to connect with a 1919.
Yes, I do. I do indeed.
How about just fling it?
I mean, I could, but I want to hit somebody with this guy. But I think this card's really good in multiple formats. Really excited to see how this shakes out. Really excited to brew around it. Really excited to see what pros brew around for it. I really just want to see more of it. My next card, Leyline Tyrant, 2 red for a 4/4 dragon with flying. You don't lose unspent red mana as steps and phases end. When Leyline Tyrant dies, you may pay any amount of red. When you do, it deals that much damage to any target. Like, come on! It helps you ramp. It's a 4/4 for 4 with flying. It can murder things if you sack it. It can murder your opponent. I'm game. Sign me up.
So I didn't put this on my top 10 just because the fact of Brazen Bar was in the format.
Don't care.
Also, Skyclave Apparition makes this card null and void too.
But you can also sack. You can just sack. Like your strategy is have this as a sacrifice outlet. Just have a sacrifice outlet with this card.
That's fair. We'll see how it shakes up. But I also want to point out so far you've had 3 mythics, and besides for my cheating, I had 2 mythics.
I don't care. Mythics are fun.
Okay.
They're supposed to be splashy. My next one was No Priest of Oblivion, but we talked about that. And then probably my favorite card of the set, Nighthawk Lurgoy. Realistically, Nighthawk Scavenger for a 1 black vampire rogue for 1 plus star 3. Yeah, that makes sense. But he's got flying, death touch, lifelink. Nighthawk Lurgoy's power is equal to 1 plus the number of card types among cards in your opponent's graveyards. Cards in graveyards have only the characteristics of their front face. So, literally telling you it doesn't count the double face cards. But, I mean, it's a 3 mana 1/3 with flying, death touch, lifelink. Kills anything. But realistically, it's going to be like a 2/3, 3/3 when you play it. And that's going to be really fun. In the rogue deck, this thing can get insane. Turn 1, mill rogue. Turn 2, another rogue that mills. Turn 3, this. And mill. Yeah, yep. That seems real fun. And then follow up with a turn 4, freaking Zan.
Zero-San.
Yeah, Zan. Zero-San. It just seems really fun. And then sneak a permanent from them onto the battlefield. Okay, this is going to also be mythic, I think. Yeah, it's also mythic. Angel of Destiny, 3 white for a 2/6 flying double strike. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you and that player each gain that much life. At the beginning of your end step, if you have at least 15 more life more than your starting life total, each player Angel of Destiny attacked this turn loses the game. It's important to note this card doesn't need to connect in order for the lose the game trigger to happen. It just says attacked this turn. So it means you just have to turn it sideways and be at 15 more life than your starting life total, and you win the game. That seems super strong for me in a 5-drop white card with flying and double strike and life gain. Like the life gain is, I mean, if it did, it's so good. Like it stacks with life gain, it stacks with each other. Like it's really good. It's not legendary. Yeah.
I didn't put it on my list just because like I don't know how much life gain there is in standard when this comes out. I didn't take the time to look.
That's fair. I mean, I don't know, but like staggering insight exists in historic that gives lifelink plus draw card when it connects. Like that's real good.
Yeah, Healer's Hawk, obviously.
Healer's Hawk.
Yeah, there's a bunch of life gain in historic. So like in historic, I think this card's gonna shine.
We also have Revitalize in standard. Like that's just 2 mana, gain 3 life, draw card. Like
it's only 3 life though.
Yeah, but we also have Veto. We have all of the Veto's guys, the other black-white dudes that have lifelink. Like, seems really fun. My next card, because we also have Relic Robber, Skyclave Apparition, and Shatterskull's Charger all on here. I'm not going to go over those again, but another card that I think need to be talked about is this slithery little snake. This slithery little snake. So,
I didn't put Lotus Cobra on my list because it's a reprint. That's the reason why.
Lotus Cobra, 1 and a green for a snake. 2/1 landfall. Whenever land enters the battlefield under your control, add 1 mana of any color. Innocuous. Doesn't seem super strong, but believe me, it's super strong. Great card. It's going to be really fun to play with. That art is fantastic. It looks like
art's fantastic.
This looked. Oh yeah, the like all art for this is fantastic. This looks like the snake from Jungle Book that's literally mesmerizing you right now, and that's really cool to me. I think
Yeah, I can see that.
I'm going to sneak in one more honorable mention, and that is Thieving Skydiver, 1 in a blue for a 2/1. Merfolk Rogue, kicker X. X can't be 0. Flying. When he enters the battlefield, if it was kicked in control of target artifact with converted mana cost X or less, if that artifact is an equipment, attach it to Thieving Skydiver. Like, come on. It's got flying, evasion, it's a merfolk, it's a rogue, it steals things from opponents, specifically artifacts, but we all know how good Hostage Taker was, even though she did hit creatures. But this taking an artifact just seems really strong. Granted, in standard, I don't think it's that great. It might just be a good sideboard card for the rogue deck. Yeah, I really like it.
Yeah, I think if there's any like super strong artifact that is cheap that's on the opponent's side, Thieving Skydiver can be pretty good with it, or good against it.
I think this, like, stealing a Colossal Hammer in Historic or whatever people try to play Colossal Hammer with seems quite good.
I think another one I want to add on real quick. Skyclave Pickaxe, 1 green for artifact equipment. When it enters the battlefield, attach it to target creature you control. Landfall, when a land enters the battlefield under your control, equipped creature gets +2/+2 to end a turn, 2 and a green to equip. If there's another aggro deck that green can be in, this card could be really good. Giving a creature Step Link's ability, I think it should be really good.
Yeah, I agree with that.
As an honorable mention.
I do 100% agree with that being really good. So that's our top 10 list. That was a little bit longer than I expected it to be, but it was our top 10 list. Make sure, again, you guys tickle the subscribe button, tap the bell icon, leave a thumbs up, a comment, let us know your top 10 list, let us know what cards you guys want us to talk about. We're definitely down to talk about any cards you guys are interested in. There won't be as many like rapid fire videos. It'll probably just go back to our weekly videos. If you guys want any other kind of games that you guys want to talk about, we're down to talk about those. We've been playing a lot of Spellbreak, Apex. I play Legends of Runeterra. I've played a lot of Hearthstone, so just let me know. Again, I stream every day, usually 10 a.m. until 4. Fridays, I stream later as well, and then Saturdays is late night for the boys. Eric streams Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday, 12:30 a.m. until about 4 a.m. You guys can catch him at twitch.tv/Pandmanaeryck. Catch me at twitch.tv/Breedingpool. Best streamer name for Magic, by the way. I don't know if you know that, but it is. We really appreciate all of you guys' support, and we'd really like to convert all of you guys that watch into subscribers. So let us know how we can do that. What would better make that happen? We love you guys. Thank you so much. You guys have a great night and a great weekend.